This is In the Zone with Ian Robb and Dancin Rodda. One's a mental toughness coach who also helps riders with recovery. The other, a horseman with soul, who is also a marriage counselor for the rider and horses. Together, they dive beyond ribbons and rankings to where real riders train, the mind. From elite arenas to quiet barns, this show is about the mental edge, the recovery rhythm, and the heart that keeps you in sync with your horse and yourself. So whether you're tuning in from the tack room or the open road, saddle up. You're in the zone now.
Hey, Pete, we're back at the World Equestrian Center in Ocala in our cabin here, the Beamer Cabin, and we're kind of excited about this podcast that's been brought to us by Equus Radio and TV. Ian, Robb, and Dancin Pete in the zone. I'm kind of excited. Pete, you excited about this one?
I'm excited. This is more up my alleyway.
This is more up your alleyway, so we're going to get fun. We haven't done this for a little while, but we're getting ourselves right back into it. So I'm going to introduce our next guest. You know, it's Jorden Halvorsen. She is a famous female bull rider, but let's do our famous intro for her. Let's have some fun. All right, here we go. Welcome back to In the Zone with the podcast that grit meets grace, champions learn to ride, that razor-thin line between fear and flow. I'm Ian Robb, athlete coach, peak performance junkie, joined as always by my brother in balance, the one and only Dancin Rodda.
That's right, partner. Today we're diving into the kind of courage most folks only dream about. We've got a guest who traded the hunter jumper ring for the bull chute, and she didn't just survive it, she dominated it.
She's a four-time world champion bull rider, the founder of Elite Lady Bull Riders, and one of the most fearless women redefining what tough looks like in the Western sports.
You'll hear how she faces her head-on, the ritual that locked her into the zone, and how she's empowering a new generation of female athletes to ride with purpose, power, and peace.
So strap in, take a deep breath. Get ready for 8 seconds of truth that might just change how you face your next big challenge. This is In the Zone with Jorden Halvorsen. Hey, Jorden.
Hello.
What did you think of that?
That was pretty awesome.
You're going to record that, and you can do that when you go to get on a bull?
Yep.
Or you can just have it as your message. Like when people call you, you don't pick up. Then they just
it goes right in.
Does that work for you? That could be kind of fun. So, hey, listen, we're so proud and happy to have you on with us today. You're our first bull rider. And I got to tell you, I did see your show on Netflix. And I said, I want that girl because it takes a lot of, I'm going to say it, balls.
She doesn't have that.
Balls to do what she does. You know, I trust that you don't. But you do have the good spot and be able to do it. So before we get started, let's go a little bit of a background for everybody that's a little bit with us. Tell us just a little bit about yourself. So because not every hunter jumper, not every dressage rider, not every jockey kind of knows the bull riding world. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Jorden. And, you know, I was riding hunter jumper horses. And honestly, like I got started riding bulls like just to say I did it and mark it off my bucket list. I did not set out to be a bull rider. Like I literally went with my buddies. I was riding hunter jumper horses. I was trying to qualify my pony for pony finals. And one Sunday, like we went to a practice pen and just tried it just to say we did it. Cause I grew up not having a whole lot of money. And so as you know, in any kind of equestrian sport, it's really expensive. And so like I was actually working for a trainer and I was pretty much riding all the naughty horses and ponies anyway. Like I would just ride whatever came in the barn that needed to be rode. And so when she had this guy that was hanging around that was riding bulls and he mentioned it to us, I literally said to myself, I was like, well, I'm getting bucked off of these naughty horses and ponies. Like I might as well just try getting bucked off a bull. And so that's literally how it started. And I had no idea it was going to turn into what it did turn into. It was really just like hey, they're riding these cows, these angry cows. Let's go and try it.
You know, that's funny because that's exactly where I was going to go with this first question, in the sense that you started out in the hunter jumper world, but what made the dramatically drained bulls? What was that moment that triggered that jump on how you were mentally preparing from switching from an English saddle to the bull arena? I mean, what made you just think, oh, I got to do that? I know it was on your bucket list, but I mean, come on now, Jordan. Something must have switched in your head. You go, let's just do it.
I mean, I was literally like hitting the ground riding horses and ponies. And like, I mean, I was getting bucked off. And like, my very first pony I had, my parents didn't know much about horses and stuff, but they bought me this unbroke 2-year old when I was 9 years old. And so they they had literally kind of said, they're like, well, if you want to ride him, you'll figure it out. He was in my backyard. I messed with him every day, like, but I didn't know what I was doing. And I was obviously working with the horseback riding instructor at that time. But honestly, when I went to go get on, like, I had just kind of had all these things lining up my whole life, with getting bucked off and riding and then working for this trainer and getting bucked off, that when I went to go ride that first bull, like the video of it, like I'm literally grinning ear to ear. But I'm also very naive to like the danger that this imposes, because it's one thing to say how dangerous it is, it's another to live how dangerous it is. And so at that point, like I had no idea really the severity of what could happen to me when I got on that first bull. And really like several bulls after that, like I just started, we went on a Sunday and it was like every Sunday after that, I was going back to that same place and getting on, trying to get better. I just didn't know like how severe it was. So like preparing for that first one, like it was literally nothing to me because I'd already been getting bucked off and I didn't really understand the dangers of it full-fledged.
Yeah, the practice pen close to where my best friend would go and how he started his career in bullfighting. Two guys' first rides got seriously injured. So that's what most people don't realize, that it's not if you're going to get hurt, it's when. It could be the first one, it could be the fifth one, it could be the 100th one. So considering the physical risk in bull riding, can you walk us through a specific crisis moment, injury, scare, ride gone wrong, and how you recovered mentally and physically to get back in the game?
So this one in very particular was extremely bad. I went to a bull riding. I was fighting with my boyfriend of that time, and I knew I shouldn't have rode. And I knew I wasn't prepared. I knew I wasn't in the right headspace to ride this day. And I'm not much of a drinker, never have been, but I had drank then. And so or the day before, I didn't drink the day. I've never drank and rode, people. I haven't done that, but I drank the night before. And going into this ride, I just wasn't there mentally that I normally would be. And so I was hungover and I had taken some Motrin. Well, I get on this bull anyway, knowing I shouldn't. And this bull just steps on my stomach, right there on the right side of my stomach. And I suffer a greater than grade 5 lacerated liver. Now, this injury specifically has an 80% mortality rate. And when I had got to the hospital and stuff, I thought I had broke my collarbone. My stomach was bubbled over in blood, and I'm just like, oh yeah, it's just my collarbone. And then they come in, they're like, you've lacerated your liver. And I'm like, okay, great. I'll be out of here tomorrow. I've done this before, obviously not near as severe. So my mindset through this whole injury was I'll be good tomorrow, I'll be better tomorrow. And well, during the time that I had gotten the CT scan, they'd come in and said I had lacerated my liver. They didn't tell me how bad. They just said I lacerated it. And then about 10 minutes later, my blood pressure cuff on my arm starts going off. And it's because my blood pressure can't be picked up by the machine anymore. And so a doctor and a nurse come running in. They're like, hey, can't see your blood pressure. We need to stick this needle in your artery in your wrist so we can keep track of your blood pressure. Because I was literally internally bleeding to death. And so they try to stick me 10 times. I still have not processed the severity of what's going on. I'm just okay, yeah, whatever. Here's my arm. And yeah, so they stick me 10 times. The 10th time they can't find it. And I just kind of look over at them. The student was like, I'd like to try one more time. And I was like, I'd like it if y'all stopped. And about the time I said that, this is just what I remembered. This is like just how the night went. But I remembered after saying that, a surgeon walked into the doorway holding 2 bags of blood, saying, "This girl, we need to take this girl back to the OR right now, or else she's going to die." And so, like, I just remembered being rushed back to the OR. I remembered, I don't know if this is out of body. I don't remember any, like, I just don't remember why. Not why. I do remember why, but I just remember being wheeled into the OR, them cutting my stomach open and seeing hands go in. And then everything went bright for me. Like everything was bright. I had no emotions. I wasn't mad. I wasn't sad. I wasn't scared. I wasn't happy. I literally felt nothing. But off in a distance, I could see a figure standing there. And I remembered saying, "I'm not ready. I'm not ready." And I woke up, which ended up being 3 days later. So they had to medically induce me into a coma for 3 days because I was on the transplant list to get a new liver. So when you have a greater than grade 5, like more than 75% of my liver had been destroyed. So I was at one hospital, and all that hospital did was they went in and they packed the bleeding. They just got it to stop, and then they shipped me to a different hospital. Well, the first hospital wasn't a big trauma center. Like they just went in there just to try to stop the bleeding and then sent me to a big trauma center. Well, they had blindly packed my liver so well. Your liver is one of the only organs that will regenerate to its full capacity. So they had saved just enough tissue that my liver was going to regrow on its own. And so during this whole thing, like I went back to riding bulls after this. And I flatlined twice on the table. I went back to riding bulls within 3 months of this. And like, to be completely truthfully honest with you, I felt like God had given me a purpose. And like after that, like I was not scared of death anymore. Like I did not care what happened to me. I just don't think that God puts purpose in your life without reason. And it was 6 months after that, that's when I went to go film the Netflix show with Dale Brisby. And just kind of all these doors had opened up. And the mental state that I was in after that, every bull I got on, like it literally took all my nerves away. Like I was never nervous. Like I wasn't scared. There just was this whole like new defining moment of this is what I'm supposed to do. I can get through anything in life as long as I follow God's path.
So what's the name of the Netflix?
How to be a
And now I
cowboy.
want to go watch it.
Yeah, How to Be a Cowboy. Now, they didn't really talk about it on the Netflix show because I think of how kind of traumatic that is, and we have a very young viewership. And so, like, I get it. But I did have, like, right after that, I did have, like, 3 other injuries, like, back to back. Nothing major, nothing like that, just a broken arm and, like, tore a meniscus. But yeah, it was 6 months after that happened, like, I was 100% again and, like, moving around. And
Jorden, when did this happen in your career in bull riding? Was this the beginning of your career, middle? I mean, how long ago was this? And how long you've been riding bulls?
so I got on my first bull in 2012, and this happened in 2020. So I had been getting on for almost 8 years before something like that happened.
You were like 17 or something like that.
And I was like, yeah, 25 when it
Oh, you
happened.
were 25 when you first started?
Oh no, I was 17 when I first started.
Yeah, first started. But yeah, you can count. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. And just thinking that as a bucket list type thing.
So what do you wear protective wise?
For me, because I have bad knees, I wear knee braces, protective knee braces, a vest, a helmet, mouthpiece. I wear a wrist brace on my wrist just because I did that early on. And bull riding's kind of one of those things, like once you find your mojo, like you don't really want to change it up. And so that was something I did pretty early on because I had broken my wrist. And
So have you been wearing those things from the beginning or just after that major injury?
oh no, so like my wrist brace I was wearing from the beginning, my knee brace. I first started wearing a knee brace in 2017 on my right knee, and then I think it was probably 2018 that I went to having one on my left knee as well. And then helmet, pretty much, I would say 80% of the time I wear. Yeah, my vest pretty much all the time. I
had buddies that had been riding before the vests were mandatory, and they used to say, I don't like wearing the vest because you're more likely to get hurt. I said, what do you mean? And he goes, well, you don't get up as quick when you think you have something to protect you. And I was like, okay. But now, is it mandatory for vests and for helmets now, or?
So helmets are still not mandatory in every situation. Like PRCA doesn't mandate helmets, but the PBR, if you were born, I think it's after 1994, you are required to wear a helmet.
You have more brains after
Yeah,
before.
I think vests are always mandatory.
So that experience that you had right there, it's pretty profound. Most competitors sometimes have a moment that they almost quit. Most people probably would have told you to quit after something like that you experienced. You know, um, how in that story right there, what made you keep on wanting to be in the arena and keep on going?
When that happened, it was also during COVID. So the day that I got hurt was like the day that COVID shutdown started. So when I woke up, like the world was actually completely shut down. And like what kept me going, I spent 2 weeks in the hospital because they didn't want to just release me because I was high risk for COVID. And so like they kept me there because COVID wasn't in the hospital yet. And I had a lot of time obviously to like think about like whether or not like I wanted to, but I don't know. I feel like once I like all the sedatives that you're you're on for being on a ventilator wear off, like I was starting to think, man, I don't know what's gonna stop me from getting on, like at that point in my life. And I don't know, I wanted it so bad. I just wanted to ride so bad. And like, I don't know, I just for some reason felt a lot of peace. I liked the challenge. Like I just wanted to see how far I could take it, see how good I could get in my own story. People can compare apples to apples all day long, but it's your story. And I wanted to write my story the best that I could.
So in a sport where things are unpredictable, the animal, the arena, the crowd, how do you anchor your performance? Do you have a pre-ride ritual or mental checklist that helps you lock in?
Yeah, for me to get in the zone, like I have to be consistently working out. Like for me, like it's all about the preparation because the better you prepare, the better you are. Like you can just kind of almost go into autopilot in that situation. But I just like, yeah, I have my pre-ride rituals, like with the way I stretch, the way I get my gear ready, the way I put my boots on. It doesn't seem like like there's just like little things that just help me like mentally prepare. My suit procedure is always the same, no matter what bowl it is, no matter where I'm at. Like I do the same thing every time, which I think just helps you stay focused, not worry about, what's going on around you, not worried about the ride before you, because you can't control those things either. And I think just all that, just having like the same thoughts every time, like, what you're doing, the affirmations are big to me, like saying affirmations while I'm getting ready, just to kind of have those like little reminders that like this is what you've prepared for, you are strong, you are a bull rider, just kind of little things like that.
And you're from Texas.
Well, I'm from North Carolina.
Oh, but you live in Texas.
I live in Texas.
Close enough, right?
So, Jordan, with these affirmations, because it's interesting you say a couple things where a lot of our people come on when we talk about mindsets, they do have sayings, they do have some things. Do you put them like on sticky notes, like in your locker? Do you have them written down somewhere on your phone, or they're just in your head that they're playing and you're saying to yourself?
I do both. So obviously I'll say them out loud because I think that's a big thing instead of just saying them in your head. Like when I'm driving to a rodeo, like I really like to speak my affirmations out loud because I feel like it gives it more purpose. And then I do write stuff down a lot. Like I do write my affirmations down. I, do all like I kind of keep when I'm riding bulls, like I get a journal, I write down like the bulls I've been on, how long I rode them, something good about it. But then like definitely like the affirmations, I will also have a page dedicated to like if I'm, writing those down.
So you're in your truck now. You're going to ride a bull. You got your hand on the steering wheel. Give us one or two things you might be saying to yourself as you're on your way.
So one of my biggest ones is I am strong. I think that one's really important to me, just because like you gotta be strong, strong-minded, physically strong, so I am strong is just kind of like a very generic, I'm prepared, I am ready, I can ride everything. You run underneath me, you know, because like your body also doesn't know between a made up situation and a real situation. So definitely affirmations, I feel like help with.
So, Jorden, before we get, all writers can do that too. You agree? They could use exactly what you're saying and they could use it themselves. This is one of the key things that you can give to all the different disciplines out there about how they can handle it.
So you're going into a show. This is my question going on that topic was you're about to go into a show on your horse or you're getting prepared for the show for the horse. What are you saying? Same things or different?
No, I would probably say about the same things, you know, especially like I am prepared. I can remember my course, you know, stuff like that, because I'm not very good at that. That's why I do hunters, because, well, they're really easy.
Yeah.
Horses
Well,
are-
I mean, you get on and right before you get on, you have something that kind of helps you keep yourself in that flow. Any last word you say before you get out that chute, anything that pops in your mind right now.
Oh, yeah, stay in the middle. They can't buck you off. That's why I say to myself over and over and over again, like as I'm on them,
There you go. That's good, Pete. I like that.
Yeah.
stay in the middle. They can't buck you off.
So 8 second ride, and I've had many buddies that were rodeo guys that could tell you about an 8 second ride and take 40 minutes or longer and describe each part, which I always call in the moment. So describe your favorite 8 second ride.
And how you mentally stretch that
No,
time.
but I want to hear it from you to see.
So there's a ride. It was actually featured in our Hulu doc about the women's bull riding, but it was this little bull. I'd already been on him. I'd bucked off of him, and I rode this bull for 8 seconds. They scored me. I think I was only like 80 and a half on him, but it just felt, I just remembered feeling so peaceful. Like I remembered like it had slowed down. I was making moves. I had always kind of struggled for the longest time until after my liver accident with bulls away from my hand. And this bull, you know, had made a really hard fake to the left and then he turned back to the right. And I just remembered everything being like so calm, which is like crazy because you're riding a bull, the stands are packed, you know, everyone's screaming, hollering. And I remembered, I just remember not hearing anything. Like it was just so peaceful. And I remember it being like one of my favorite kind of rides, especially going into it, you know, had been bucked off that bull before. He'd essentially even made the same kind of move that had bucked me off, and I rode him through it the second time. I don't know. It just like it definitely like puts you on cloud nine after riding something like that and just being in complete control. Like there's just this sense of peace to it.
Kind of a flow state. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely a flow state.
You know, do you think you can recreate that every single time after that now?
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to think if I mean, yeah, there have been times where I have created that after that, but it takes a special, I feel like, moment for me to get in that. Because like in bull riding, like you shouldn't be thinking about it. Because if you're thinking, you're a step behind them. Like bull riding is all reaction. Like that's what we prepare. That's what we train for. That's what we prepare for is like, what should my body be doing to this bull's counter move? And so, you know, like being in that flow state is like really, really, really important. But I feel like it's really sometimes kind of hard to do every time.
So what's your favorite bull as far as moves that you can ride and you know you're going to make it?
Yeah, it was a bull named Tony. When he was really good, he was good. You know, he was just fun to get on. He wasn't really more than a practice bull, but he was definitely one of those that like it was. Once I got his number, it was pretty rare if I was gonna fall off of him.
All right, let's go on the other side of that coin. What's that one ride, that one bull that if you got that number, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm in for it.
I don't know, because I mean, like our bulls are a lot different than like I would say like a lot of like PBR bulls. So to me, it's like not that impressive what we get on sometimes. But there was a bull that I rode him for like 7.5 seconds and I didn't get a score. That I had really wished that I would have been able to secure the 8 seconds on. His name was Sonic Blast. He was an old retired PBR bull, but he wasn't as good as he was when he was going down the road.
That's interesting. So just out of curiosity, when you're performing in front of thousands, Jorden, often in male-dominated spaces when people are watching these things. How do you keep your energy grounded or confident when all eyes and all expectations are on you?
I think for me, my biggest thing is like I don't ride bulls for them. And that is like a very hard thing that you will struggle with. I'm doing this for me, like I don't care what they think. Like I'm doing this because I want to do this, not because like I want to do it for them. Like I'm doing this because I love to do this. And it's just you're gonna have bad days and you're gonna have really good days. And so I think just having that mentality of like I'm doing this for me and like this is what I love to do and this is my story and this is what's going to help me sleep at night. I think keeping those in mind kind of helps drown out the fact that there's all these people watching you and it keeps you mentally sharp, keeps you focused. You want to do this because you want to do this and you want to be good at it, not because you want to be good for them.
So one of my buddies used to say about ladies riding bulls is it's really great to watch them when they do well, but when they get hurt, it's really not a good thing. So how do you deal with that kind of mindset of, you shouldn't be riding bulls, you're a girl, we don't want to see you get hurt in the arena, all those kind of things. How do you set that boundary?
Because I've been told a lot because I've had a lot of injuries, from riding bulls and not riding bulls. And, I've been told a lot of that. And I just, when I'm faced in those situations, I'm like, what's crazy is you're not going to feel my pain. And so, like, if I want to put myself in that position, like, that's my choice. It's like you riding down the road without a seatbelt. Like, that's your choice. If my choice is to ride bulls because I happen to fall in love with it, then like that's my choice. And you're not going to feel the effects of what it does to me. I mean, obviously, like I'm trying my best to not get hurt, but you can't control it. But yeah, I just kind of roll with it. I'm like, all right, yep, you're right. I shouldn't do this, but
Guess what? I'm going to.
don't do anyway. So
Go. So, Pete, I want to talk to Jorden a little bit more about her leadership now and legacy. In the sense, Jorden, that you launched the Elite Lady Bull Riders, the ELBR, a dedicated woman-only bull riding association. What inspired you to start this, and what was the most proud of when you look at how it all has evolved?
yeah, so I wanted to create the Elite Lady Bull Riders because like back to like what we just talked about with like seeing girls get hurt and stuff like that, like I think of rodeo a little bit as entertainment, and also like I want to ride bulls and I want to ride good bulls, but I don't necessarily want to go get on a bushwhacker. At the end of the day, I do believe that there's a difference between a male and a woman as far as like physical demands go and how we're built and how our bones and muscles and all that stuff takes into account. Now, that doesn't mean we can't get on good bulls. It just means that I want to create something where women can excel in and we can maybe limit those numbers of injuries because we're not just trying to make them eat dirt every time they nod their head, because that's a lot easier to do than it is for them to ride. I'm like, you can go to a lot of men's bull ridings where like they're all just eating dirt because they're getting on these bulls that are way over the skill level of the rider that's entered. And so I created this to give women back an opportunity to ride bulls if that's what they want to do. Because when the Professional Women's Rodeo Association used to have rough stock riding, they used to have it for all three events: bull riding, bareback riding, and saddle bronc. And so it's just kind of like our way of like trying to bring it back in a sense and like give us that opportunity without necessarily trying to kill us off.
I know the new thing for bull riding is team oriented sport. Would you want to have it to where each team has one woman on their team that rides bulls that you guys are used to, not saying that you're going to ride the same bulls the guys do, but have a pin of bulls for the ladies? Would you be interested in them changing the sport into that?
I think it would be cool as long as the bulls fit the riders. I think the problem is there's a lot of girls that say they want to ride bulls. No offense to them, but they don't really want to get on even a half-ass real bull. they say they want to ride bulls, but it's more of like I want to ride an overgrown steer that's going to run across the pen versus maybe even like a slow bull that's going to turn back and he might be big, but he's 100% rideable for us. And so I think as long as the bulls fit and you could find enough girls that want to get on that kind of bull to make the show look good, I think it would be really interesting.
And do you guys have female bull fighters when you guys are riding, or is it guys that are still fighting the bulls?
It's still guys that are fighting the bulls. Like it's usually like we're a part of a bigger rodeo. So like we're just like a section of the bulls. So they've already got the bull. There's guys getting on a lot of our rodeos as well.
So Jordan, you find that people get pretty excited when you girls come on then because
Yeah.
it's a different flavor. I mean, they're like, dude, this looks pretty cool. This was kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see both sides of the coin. Like there's definitely those that get like super, super, super excited about it. And then there's some people that get really, really, really not excited about it. But I mean, there have been rodeos where I've been to and I have gotten on that steer that runs across the pen and the crowd really does not know or care. They just like to see that we're out there doing it. So I think that's like my biggest struggle is finding that line between good stock and not running. And I think that's just more of me because I want to be better than that. But yeah, I think they get really excited regardless of what it is.
So what do you call your groupies? The guys that are into the lady bull riders. We used to buckle bunnies for the ladies, for the guys. So
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you would call them, but
You guys might have a name for them, but you're not going to tell us maybe right now.
no, I mean, I've never really thought about it. I feel like we've come up with a name before, but I'm not remembering what we
It's all
call
right.
them.
What about young girls? I mean, do they look up to you as a role model and take pictures and want to get all that good stuff too? I mean, you must have some of that out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's definitely, a little bit of that. And like I want to try to be, someone that they can look up to, being that kind of a light in a dark time, because
Yeah.
the world's getting pretty dark and I'd like to be a light.
I mean, Jordan, I don't know, Pete, but I don't know if the Barbie doll has a bull riding doll. Maybe we need to get one. What do you think?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, they get a lot of ladies into the bull riding that way.
Yeah.
But, I'm kind of curious though, too. Often, you talked about helping other women step into their power. Okay. How has teaching others made you more mentally stronger as an athlete?
I think it just trying to, get other girls into it and get them strong and get them going. I think it just motivates me to want to like push my next step. I'm helping them push their next step, but then it's like, all right, now I gotta push my next step, and so I think that helps me mentally be strong, as in like I can't weaken, like I can't show weakness because like I want to be a strong figure and I want to be pushing like I want to be pushing myself like I'm pushing them.
So what do you think the public misunderstands about what it takes to get on a bull mentally, emotionally, and spiritually?
So I think a lot of people think that bull riding is just one of those activities that you get drunk with your buddies on the weekend and it's like a one-off and that's like just kind of how, but these guys, we're like athletes, like we're working out, we're staying fit, we're doing all the things to prepare to ride bulls. You've got to want it. You have to want it. No, if you don't want it, like it's going to show, so I think a lot of people don't understand, like, it's just this weird addiction to want to ride bulls and in any sport, really, especially with horses. Like I know there's a lot of people with horses that don't understand that, that there's just this weird addiction with it. But yeah, I mean, it just helps.
So, Jordan, you talked a little bit. We talked earlier, you were talking about what gets yourself set up is your conditioning and really gets you feeling confident and working out and doing that stuff. Because your injury right now, you really haven't had that opportunity to do that. But let's be honest, recovery in your sport is more than just ice baths. What mental recovery tools, like we talked about just a little bit about visualization or reflection mindsets, how do you rely on that after a competition? Or let's just say you had approached a failure in your sport. How do you bounce back from that? What do you, Jordan, do to help yourself out with recovery?
Well, for like an injury recovery, I kind of tell myself it was always a freak accident and it's never going to happen again. I don't know if that's a very smart way to look at it, but I always just tell
Well, you do
myself,
ride bulls. Let's not
yeah,
talk
I mean, it was a freak
smart.
deal. I ride bulls. I broke my leg, but that was a freak accident. That would never happen again. So like that's kind of where like I go. And I don't know if that just helps me forget that kind of stuff, like the bad stuff that's happened. And it makes me focus on moving forward. But I just always kind of had this mentality of it's not going to happen again. Just prepare like you've been preparing and you're going to be fine.
So for the riders and athletes listening, wanting to build a personal brand in sports, wellness, equine, or bulls, what 3 actions would you recommend they start with today?
For creating a brand of themselves.
About themselves. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, just
You got to be careful when we say brand because it could be your brand.
There you
that
go.
Put on
Steer,
a
put
cow.
on the steer.
Steer.
you just got to be yourself and not be afraid of what anyone thinks. Do the post, be dedicated to your sport, and just keep getting after it every day.
What's it like to be on TV featuring like Not Your First Rodeo or the other one that we just talked about? What's it like and how do you stay grounded after being on those TV shows? I mean, not everyone experienced having cameras in TV and being on kind of a semi-celebrity like that, Jordan. I mean, are you ready to get on Dancing with the Stars or something like that?
I would go on Dancing with the Stars if the opportunity arose.
Well, after she recovers from her broken leg.
Yeah, I could probably do it now.
I'll push for you, and I'll write that in. I'm going to have you be on Dancing with the Stars.
It'd be hilarious. I would do it for sure. I just think of myself as just any other, person. I don't, I'm just doing something I love that has happened to be captured for TV and for the internet and stuff. And I've met a lot of celebrities and like, it's just kind of like I just view them as a person as well. So like I feel like I treat both the same. I think we're just humans just doing what we do.
All right, you ready for the bonus round?
This is our fun part right here now, Jordan. It's called the lightning round.
Okay.
Whatever comes to your mind right off the bat here, a little fire and ice that we're going to talk about it. Pete, you want to start it off?
Horse or bull? Pick one if you absolutely had to choose for a week and why.
Bull. Because I haven't been able to get on in a year and I'm
okay.
There you go. What's the single best piece of equipment, helmet, boot, saddle, board, have you ever bought that improved your ride?
My helmet.
Okay.
I'm not scared to take a hit in it.
Favorite non-equestrian bull ritual you do to unwind or reboot your mindset?
I love to eat a Rice Krispie treat after I ride.
That's interesting. That's interesting. We can get you a deal with Rice Krispies on that one right there. Okay, if you could ride any animal in the world for fun, not competition, understand that riding that bull was on your bucket list. This is a new bucket list. What would you pick and why?
Buffalo. I want to ride one with a bull rope so bad. I've seen so many people do it and I want to do it so bad.
First word that comes to your mind when the chute opens.
Stay in the middle.
That's right. Favorite rodeo or event of all time?
Henrietta, Texas. It's one of my favorite rodeos.
What's scarier, your first bull ride or your first 100 jumper show?
Probably my first 100 jumper show.
Tell us why. I want to know why.
Why?
I have no idea. I just remember. I still to this day get nervous going in a hunter ring versus getting on a bull. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I have no idea. It makes me nervous.
There you go. Well, you can come here to the World Equestrian Center this winter, do a 100 jumper ride, and you get to come to visit us here. All right. My next lightning question right here. Harder to read, a bull in the chute or a horse in the warm-up ring?
Bull in the chute.
Favorite bull you've ever ridden or the one that taught you the most?
Road trip.
Road trip. Okay. Pre-ride pump-up song that gets you in the zone.
Yes.
Legendary by Welsh Ames or whatever.
Welsh. That's good. That's good. I like it.
One thing you always do for good luck before you ride.
Oh, shoot. I don't know. Say a prayer.
Dream riding partner, any bull rider, horse trainer, athlete, living or dead?
Wait, bull riding or horse riding?
Yeah, well, dream riding partner. It could be a horse, could be John Wayne.
I would really love to learn from Kent Farrington.
Okay.
I've always admired him as a rider.
There you go. That's good.
If you could design your own custom bull name, what would it be?
That'd be cool. Think
Uh,
about that. That'd be cool.
Custom bull name.
Yeah.
I have a bull named Jordan's Pet, so that's pretty good, right?
There you go.
Unless you have to feed them. There you go. Then that's not so nice. Or clean up after them. If your riding style had a nickname, what would it be called?
Am I riding what?
Your riding style had a
Oh.
nickname. If they could get a nickname for how you ride. Like some people have nicknames for how they would throw a pitch in baseball or dance or whatever. We're going to give you your own name, your own nickname for how you ride.
The braced up.
The brace stuff.
There you go.
I ride with a way more braces than probably a lot of horses.
What's your mantra before every ride? Stay in the middle.
Yep, every time.
What mental skills that gives you a competitive edge?
Being able to forget the bad.
All right, your last three here. What's the biggest fear buster you've learned in your career?
You can get run over and be just fine.
Yeah, some of the worst wrecks I've ever seen. Nobody got hurt. Guy falls off the shoulder of a bull, and they're calling in the paramedics, and I'm like, he just fell off. Broke his arm up in his face, and it was bad. What's something people get wrong about female bull riders?
Something that they get wrong. That we do it because we love it and not just for the attention.
All right, Jordan. What's the most uncowgirl thing about you?
I wear fake eyelashes.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, two more because we're having too much fun. Are you good for two more?
Yeah, I'm good.
Favorite country or rock song lyrics that sums up your attitude? These are good.
Star lyrics. Oh, I don't know. I'm not very good at. I mean, the whole song of Legendary, I feel like is because we're gonna do.
Jordan, I'm going to tell you something. That was the song that I wanted for this to have the
Oh,
intro.
really?
I swear to God, right there. I even wrote it down right here.
He made me listen
Ghostly
to
Arms right there. Legendary. Yes. So that you picked that one, and I was gonna do that. And I'm gonna tell you, my girlfriend Lisa said, pick that song to be your warm-up song or whatever. It says God's with us or something like that. We're in sync right here. That's just crazy to me.
Wow. Go-to comfort food after a tough weekend.
Rice Krispie treats.
Something besides a Rice Krispie treat. You gotta eat like a meal.
Oh,
Don't tell
so
me you eat 10 Rice Krispie treats.
well, I do mostly only eat meat, so kind of try to stay relatively on carnivore. So I do like a thicker ribeye.
But that's good. That's good. All righty. Last question right here. Favorite quote or saying you live by?
Be who you want to be and not who you're told to be.
I love
like
that.
it.
That's a great one to end on. I
Yes.
absolutely do believe that. So, Jordan, we had so much fun with you today. I really appreciate you and coming on here. I'm glad Vinny got us connected from Western Edge.
And before we leave, how would people get to closer to know you or find out about you?
Yeah, so I'm on TikTok and Instagram. Both my handles there are Jorden, Jorden 395. And then if you just look me up on Facebook, Jorden Halvorsen, I think I normally just generally come up.
And you got anything coming up here the next year here that we got to be aware of? Anything going on besides your recovery and you're going to be back on that bull?
That deal, I don't know the exact dates, but it's in May at the Stockyards in Fort Worth. We're gonna have a 6-head women's bull riding. Riding
That's going to be good. Any more shows that are coming up here? Season 2 or anything like that going on?
Haven't heard about a season 2 yet. Hopefully, Lord willing, we get a season 2, but I haven't heard anything. Maybe I might be featured in another movie or something in the near future. Because I got my
Or Dancing with the Stars. We're going to push that. We're going to try and make that happen. All right. Jordan, thank you so much. We're going to do our outro to this podcast. Pete, here we go. Are you ready?
I don't have those lines.
Yes, you do. Right there.
Okay. Man, that was a powerful Jorden Halvorsen doesn't just ride bulls. She rides life with the intention, discipline, and whole lot of heart.
Glad he's not reading this, Jordan.
Yeah, I
Here
know.
we go. Absolutely. What stood out to me, Pete, is how she turns fears into fuel. Whether it's in an arena, a boardroom, or a barn, the mindset is what separates the riders from the spectators.
If you love this conversation, do Jorden a favor and yourself by sharing this episode with someone who needs a little extra courage today.
And make sure you follow In the Zone wherever you listen to the podcast, because every week we bring you the stories, science, and soul behind human and equine performance at the highest level.
Until next time, remember, stay grounded, stay grateful, and stay in the zone.
I love it. I love it.
That's a wrap on another powerful episode of In the Zone with Ian Robb and Dancin Pete Rodda. Whether you ride, compete, or simply love your animals like family, today's episode was a reminder that true teamwork starts with connection and that health is the ultimate performance edge. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. And catch us next time as we dive deeper into the mind, body, and bold journeys of top performers. Until then, stay focused, stay inspired, and keep riding in the zone.